So we're going to do 44. So if you write big and you want a lot of room, do it on another piece of paper and then just have that paper and just transfer the answer to here. Or just put it all on another piece of paper. That's fine with me. So we have 5 over 8 plus the square root of 6. Whoops, that's a minus. Now, whenever you have, Tristan, you need to watch this because I don't know if you got the notes on this. So you have, whenever you have two numbers on the bottom and one is a square root, you have to multiply by what? The same thing but opposite signs. So you're going to multiply the top and bottom by 8 plus the square root of 6. On the top, you multiply the 5 times 8, which gives me my 40. Then 5 times the square root of 6 is 5 square roots of 6. On the bottom, because they are the same thing but opposite signs, you can do F and L. You only can do F and L when they're the opposite signs. So 8 times 8 is my 64. And we have a negative. Square root of 6 times square root of 6 is 6. And then our final answer is 40 plus 5 square roots of 6 over 58. Oh, you can't see that. Too big. All right. All right, so Robin, what'd you get for 45?
I didn't do that one.
You didn't do that one? Okay. So for those of you that want to do the, like, if you want the one more step, the advanced step, you can also take out a 5, but I won't make you take that out because you can't really reduce it. But you could have factored that, but we'll just leave it as that being the answer, so that we don't have to. But you could have pulled a 5 out of the top. All right. Other ones that you want me to do that you don't know how to do, or that you want me to do that you, yes.
43.
43. All right, so we have 1 over 3 square root of AB. When you're talking about variables, to be a perfect variable, remember, it has to be divisible by the 3. So we need a cubed, b cubed on the bottom. So to get a cubed, b cubed on the bottom, what must I multiply this by? A squared, b squared. The only other thing you have to remember is you have to keep that cube root. So whatever you multiply the bottom, you have to multiply the top. So the top will be 1 times this, then would be the cube root of a squared, b squared, over, this now is a times a squared, gives me a cubed. B times b squared is b cubed, and we have that cube root. Only thing we have to do now is clean up the bottom. What is the cube root of a cubed? If there's a 3 here, there's 3 inside. How many groups can leave? 1. And hopefully there's nothing left over, because if there's something left over, we didn't do it right. Top stays the same, a squared, b squared. Bottom is a, and what about the b's? 1b, so b. All right, try 39. Yes. Oh.
Number 43, how do you get a squared, b squared?
On the top we had, is that right? 43 at 1. So you had 1. Um, do you want to know why I chose a squared, b squared?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Do you see how if we had the cube root of x, we can't take anything out, right? I can't take anything out until there's 3 of them.
Oh.
So I have to figure out what I have to multiply this by to get it to be a cube. So that's why we chose the a squared.
Okay,
Does that make sense?
I got that,
Okay.
yeah.
Any other questions on 43? All right, let's do 39, but I'm going to do it on another piece of paper. All right. Lucas, what's my goal? I want to get the cube root off the bottom, is right. So I have to look for a perfect cube. So, and I do have a few up here of these, so if anybody needs them, they can take some and I'll make more copies if I need to. So I need a perfect cube. So I'm looking at my third row and I'm looking to see what does 3 go into? 8, 27, 64, 100, and the lowest one. So what does the 3 go into? 27. So you have to ask yourself, what times 3 gives me 27? Anybody not know where I got the 9 from? So remember, you have to keep it under that cube root though. So I have 1 y, but I need 3 y's because that says that there's 3. So how many am I going to multiply it by? Y squared is right. So whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. Then you simply go and say you have your 7 times my 9, which gives you your 63. X squared, y squared, over, we have the cube root, 9 times 3 gave me my 27, y cubed. You have to ask yourself, is there a perfect in 63? We're at the cube root, so we have to say, does 27 or 8 go into 63? Nope. So these two don't go into it, so that's going to stay the same. So our top is going to be the cube root of 63xy squared over, what's the cube root of 27? 3. And y, because the cube root of that. All right. Understanding it a little bit better? Lucas, no? Give me one more to do and I'll pick someone to help me work through it. Give me a number, because you said up here does, huh? 53? Okay. All right, 53. 53 is 7 square roots of 2 plus 4 square roots of 3 over 4 square roots of 3 minus 3 square roots of 2. All right, Tristan, what's my first step? I got 2 things on the bottom. I want to get rid of the radicals. What do I have to multiply by? I have to multiply the same thing that's on the bottom, but I have to do what? So I know it's going to be 4 square roots of 3 and 3 square roots of 2. What has to go in the middle? Has to be a plus. Now, the reason it has to be the same thing but opposite signs is because the middle will to cancel out.
Well, can't you just get rid of 4 square root of 3? There's one on top and one on bottom.
Good question. if I had, good question, if I had 7 minus 2 and 2 minus 1, is that, and that was a division, will that be the same? So if I cross these out, I would have 7 over negative 1. So that answer would be a negative 7. Whoops, negative 7. But the true thing was 7 minus 2, which is 5, and 2 minus 1, which is 1. So my answer really was 5. So you cannot cancel these out unless it's multiplication. So but I wanted to show you it concrete because we all know that this is true. Right? We all know that this is not negative 7. So that's easier to show it that way than, but that's why we can't, is because of the addition. Alright, so whatever you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. So I'm going to go 4 square roots of 3 plus 3 square roots of 2. So Steve, on the bottom, how can I figure out what the answer is on the bottom? Since I have two things that are the same but they're opposite signs, what can I do?
Just do the first and the last one.
First and the last. So I can do F and L. I can do this and that. So my first we have is 4 times 4 gives me 16. And square root of 3 times square root of 3 is 3. We have a positive and negative, so we're going to get a negative. 3 times 3 is 9. 2 times 2. Square root of 2 times square root of 2 is 2. The top, since we have completely different things, what do we have to do? FOIL. So we have to FOIL this. So we have 7 times my 4, 28. Square root of 2 times the square root of 3 is square root of 6. So you have first, outer, which is my 7 and 3 is 21. Square roots of, this is 2 times 2, which is 2. Inner, we have 4 and 4 is 16 times 3. Outer is 12 square roots of 6. Clean up the top, and I'm going to clean up the top with the calculator. So I have 28 and 6 and 12. So I have 40 square roots of 6. And then I have 21 times 2 plus my 16 times 3 is 90. And on the bottom, throwing that also in the calculator, 16 times 3 minus 18 gives me 30. Now, if you get to this point, I'll accept it. Alright? But I do believe there are some people that can take it to the next step, and I really would like you guys to. If you can do it, I really would like you to. If every single term can be reduced by the same number, it should be reduced. And again, if you get to this point for everyone, I will accept it. But especially if you feel you're going on in math and you're going to college in math, you really need to really think about that. If every term can be reduced by the same number, you should reduce it. This one should be obvious what it's all can be reduced by. At least can be reduced by 10. Because all of them have zeros. So 9 plus 4 square roots of 6 over 3 would be the simplest. But again, I would accept that, but this will be like when I tell you the book answers, that's what they'll have. They'll have the reduced one. Alright. Any others that you want me to do? Understanding it more, so when I get done talking, If you're not done with it, you're going to be working. All right.